Okay, hello. Thank you for joining me for this session. Discover what's actually holding you back from achieving your fitness goals. And it's not what you might think. So for anyone who hasn't met me before, even if you've been doing the Pilates for health workouts, you will have met me, but I haven't introduced myself. So I'm Gila Archer and I'm a busy woman like lots of you, and I have 3 kids. I'm a primary school teacher, I'm a Pilates instructor, and my mission really is to try and help busy women to be able to lead a physically active, fulfilling life by teaching bite-sized Pilates, because with bite-sized Pilates you can build up your strength, you can improve your flexibility and improve your confidence, all in a enjoyable, easy, achievable way. So this session is part of the Pilates for Health and Wellbeing Taster Bundle, and please let me know how you've been getting on with those workouts, if you've been enjoying them. And as a thank you to all those of you who are joining me live tonight, if you stay with me to the end, I've got a little gift that I will send you out later to help you carry on with your health and well-being. So let me share my screen and I will chat through what we're going to talk about tonight. So if you can just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen okay, and yeah, brilliant, thank you. Right, so Pilates for health and well-being. It's not just about physical health. We know our physical health is important, but it's your mental health as well that is a key to achieving your fitness goals, building stronger muscles, and which is why I've included this session as part of the Pilates for Health and Wellbeing, because this will unlock your potential to reach those fitness goals and improve your strength, your flexibility, your posture, your balance, your energy levels. And that has a knock-on effect, making you feel better about yourselves, improve your mental health as well. So they all really come together, the physical, the mental, to make you the best version of yourself possible. Now, the World Health Organization has this definition of health. It's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And I would add into their emotional well-being as well. And often when we think about health, we tend to talk about physical and mental as if they're two separate things, but they're very much together. They're very much interlinked. The mind, the body, the spirit, and all connect. And again, it just goes back another reason why I've included this in the taster bundle. And it's the process we follow in core as well. We don't just concentrate on the physical, we look at our mindset and our habits and so on as well. So, and even Joseph Pilates himself knew this. His word for his exercise system was contrology, and he says it was the complete coordination of body, mind, and spirit. And so with Pilates, as you will know, if you've experienced doing Pilates before, you very much get those mental benefits as well as the physical. So how do you feel after doing a bite-sized Pilates workout? So feel free to comment in the box if you want to. And if you're watching on recording, then please, just get in touch and let me know. How do you feel after you have done a bite-sized Pilates workout? And I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that short term, you feel really positive afterwards, don't you? You're like so pleased that you've done it. But not just that, you have those natural endorphins that are released, those feel-good chemicals in our body. Your mind feels clearer, you feel more focused, you feel pleased, proud of yourself that you've actually done something for yourself. you're feeling more flexible, more mobile, and I'm sure there are other things that you've experienced as well. And then long term, you can multiply those effects by hundreds because they all add up, they accumulate as you do the Pilates regularly. And excuse me, even just a short burst of 10 minutes walking increases your mental alertness, energy, and positive mood. You used to think you needed at least, like half an hour of exercise in order to get the benefits, but that is not the case. Anything is better than nothing. So it affects vice versa. We get these positive feelings when we do exercise, and it benefits our mental health. And the same is in reverse. Poor physical health can actually lead to an increased risk of developing mental health problems. And poor mental health can negatively impact on physical health. They both impact equally on each other. There are some statistics here. So people with the highest levels of self-rated distress compared to the lowest rates of distress were 32% more likely to have died of serious diseases like cancer. And depression has been found to be associated with an increased risk of coronary heart disease and backache. And you might not think, backache and depression perhaps could be linked. But if you've ever had backache and you've had it chronically, over time, it affects your sleep, it affects what you do, you then become fed up with it, you've got constantly coping with that pain. You can sort of start to understand how that then affects you mentally and vice versa. So they both impact on each other equally, positively and negatively. Right, so what I'm going to do tonight then, I'm going to go through in this session 4 steps with you to achieve your fitness goals. So what are your fitness goals? What's getting in your way? What's your new story? And what will you do differently? So let's dive in. Okay, so I want you to have a think for me. If I could wave a magic wand and grant you whatever you want when it comes to your fitness, what would it be? So just have a think. You don't need to comment, but just, thinking yourself, what would that be? And then think about why that's important to you. And keep asking yourself why that is important. And keep asking yourself why that's important. So let me give you an example. So you might say, well, I'd really like to be able to touch my toes. Okay, right. So that might be something that you always wanted to do. But why is that important? Why do you need to be able to do that? Well, maybe you need to do it because it would be easier, you want to be able to tie your own shoelaces, you want to be able to bend down, put your socks on without perhaps your back aching and so on, it'd be easier. Okay, but why is that important? Well, perhaps because you'd be able to do it by yourself. You don't have to ask anyone else to tie your shoelaces for you, right? So why is that important? Well, maybe because you want to be independent. You don't have to rely on other people. Okay, so why is that important? Oh, because as you get older, you want to be active and you want to stay independent. You don't want to like I say, have to rely on people. And you keep asking yourself these questions, why, until you get to an emotional connection. Think, what does that give you? Well, if you have got the flexibility and mobility in your spine to be able to bend down and do your shoelaces up, what does that give you? That gives you freedom. You're not relying on other people. You can, look after yourself, take care of yourself, especially as you get older. And then what does that feel like? And what does your life look like? Well, if you don't have the mobility and the flexibility to just do simple things like get yourself dressed and turn around and put a seatbelt on so you can drive a car or you can go out for a walk, that is going to have a direct effect on the quality of your life and what you want to do. And if you want to stay active and independent as you're getting older, then you want to be able to do those things. You want to keep that mobility and flexibility. And surely, what does that feel like? It will feel good, wouldn't it, to still be 70, 80, 90 and be able to be independent and active and not having to sort of shuffle around or rely on other people. And so these are really good questions you ask yourself, and I'm going through them quite quickly tonight, but it might be something you really want to take some time to think about. You know, if I could wave a magic wand and grant you whatever you want when it comes to your fitness, what would it be? And really think about why that's important to you. It might be, you know, that you would like more energy to run around with the children or the grandchildren, more confidence. You want to try a new activity. You want to go on a ski holiday. You just want to live a fulfilled life for as long as you can. Okay. The more we frame exercise as a positive, active step towards greater fulfillment. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to try these new activities. I'm going to go on a skiing holiday. I'm going to garden for longer. I'm going to go on long walks now, or whatever it might be. You're more likely to succeed than if you relate it to a negative outcome, like, well, I've got to do exercise because I need to lose weight, or I'm gaining weight. I need to do exercise because it will improve my health, or, you know, I'm not very to stop any illnesses, prevent illnesses, and so on. If you're thinking of it negatively, it's going to be harder. You're less likely to succeed than if you've got that vision of what, you know, your life could look like and what it could feel like by doing and achieving your fitness goals. Okay, so the next step then is thinking about you. Now, you might have read the articles, you've listened to podcasts, you've bought the leggings, you've got the mat, you've consulted the trainer, you know your goals. You're like, yep, I want to be able to do this and this and this. I want to be able to do 10 press-ups, and I want to be able to touch my toes. I want to be able to walk without, or sit whatever without my back aching, whatever it might be. But try as you might, something keeps sabotaging your best intentions to exercise regularly. Okay. What is it? Well, let's just hold fire a minute, because before we answer that, we're going to take a step back. What sort of person are you? How would you describe yourself? And again, you don't necessarily need to comment. You can just be thinking about these questions in your head. How would you describe yourself? What sort of person are you? Now, this might help. Here are some identities that you might resonate with, or you might look at and think, yeah, that's me. I'm like that. You might be a little bit of all of them. You might just be a couple, or you might not be any of them. But have a think about what, perhaps which do you feel like most at the moment, your current identity. And let's have a look at those. So are you someone who gives all the time? I'll exercise once I've sorted everyone else out first. So I'll sort the kids out, I'll cook the dinner, I'll do the washing, I'll do this for work, I'll get all of this done. And then when I've done everything else and I've got time, then I'll do something for me and I'll do my exercise. Does that resonate? You think, oh, yeah, that sounds like me. Are you the perfectionist who you think, well, yeah, but I don't really know what to do. I need to practice it. I don't want to make a fool of myself. I've got to get it right first. I need to know what I'm doing, make sure I'm doing it properly, and then I'll start doing it regularly. The procrastinator, which of course sort of links from being a perfectionist, because often the perfectionist procrastinates as well because they've got to get it perfect first, where you put it off all the time. And this is really interesting, and something I've often chatted with my members in core about, is that with your health, we're better at not procrastinating when there's a deadline. So Sarah said, right, I need you to write me a story and you've got to do it by tomorrow. Chances are you'd be, okay, right, I'll get that done, especially if there was a reward involved or something. However, if I said, right, I want you to write me a story, just take your time, doesn't matter, get it to me whenever. It could take as long as forever to do it because there's no deadline. And that deadline helps spur us into action. And there is no deadline on your health. There's no one saying, right, do you know what, tomorrow your back will start aching. Tomorrow you're going to find it difficult to get up out of the chair. Or tomorrow you're going to bend over and your back's going to suddenly go. No one tells you these things are happening. And when your back does go, 9 times out of 10, it's not what you've just done that's caused your back to go. It's been building and building and building through your habits and through your behaviours right up to that point. And of course, your strength gradually declines with age as well. So we don't have a deadline on our health. We don't know when that day is going to come. And therefore, I think it's very easy to procrastinate on your exercise. Okay, another identity might be you're just busy. You're just busy. You've got loads going on. You're just doing, being busy. You might not be productive or being productive, but you're not thinking about things. You're just getting things done, perhaps without direction. And at this, I remember being an element of what I used to do, and can very easily fall back into the trap of, is that you're just doing lots of stuff, but actually you never feel like you're achieving anything, because actually a lot of the jobs are actually the same all the time. And especially if you've got children or a young family, you've had children, you'll know what that's like, just doing the same jobs all the time, picking up the clothes, packing the toys away, whatever, and so on. And you don't ever seem to be getting any further ahead. The multitasker. Again, this is something I was very proud of. And as busy women, we tend to wear it as a bit of a badge of honour. Yes, I'm a busy woman. I can do lots of things at once. I multitask. And as women, we're very proud of that fact. Like, well, men, no, they can only do one thing at a time. As women, we can multitask. But it actually doesn't help us. It's not good for us because it drains us mentally. We don't end up actually doing any of the tasks very well. We often make mistakes, and it just takes longer to do that than monotasking and focusing on one thing at a time. And you might find that with your exercise. You might be doing some exercise and you're not thinking, well, I'm doing some exercise, especially if you're at home. But in the middle of an exercise, you see the washing. Oh, yeah, I'll just go and put that washing on. Or an email's just popped up. Oh, I'll just stop the exercise and I'll do an email in the middle. Okay. And I've heard all of these are examples I've heard over the last few years. Or you're the good girl, the one who does something to please others. So someone else saying, I want to do some exercise. I go to a class. I want to do this, but I'm not sure. And say, well, I'll come with you. I'll come and support you. It's not perhaps something you really want to do or you enjoy that type of exercise, but you're going to help them. So there's lots and lots in that. And I could talk about each of them on their own for longer. But have you considered that your identity and what perhaps you see as a strength, certainly I did, I can do lots of things at once. I'm very busy. I help everyone else. That strength that we see as a strength of character, and it's held very as virtuous in society, might actually not be helping you when it comes to achieving your fitness goals. Is that something you've ever considered? So just have a think about that. So what gets in your way then? What gets in your way or slows you down or stops you achieving your fitness goals? What do you tell yourself? And we tell ourselves all sorts of stories. And these beliefs affect our behaviours and our environment and our habits. So what's holding you back? What do you tell yourself when it comes to your fitness? So again, just have a think about this. There could be a whole range of different things. So here are some examples. Are you saying I'm too busy? I haven't got enough time. You might be saying, well, there's no point me being able to touch my toes because I'm not the flexible type. It's just not going to happen. That you're not good enough. to start. Maybe you think maybe you're too old to start doing this now. Or maybe you've tried getting fit before, you've tried doing it and it never works. You start off well and then you just fall off track, and so you think, well, it always happens like that, so why bother? Or maybe you tell yourself you can't afford it. And these are just common stories that I've come across that women have told me. But what are the beliefs behind these stories? Oh, hold on, I've just lost everyone. Hold on. All right, you're back. It's okay. I just lost my screen then. So what are the beliefs behind these stories? By saying this, what are you avoiding or letting yourself off the hook for? And this is something that one of my mentors asked me a few years ago. And I must admit, I really struggled. My story was, I just haven't got enough time. I'm too busy. I don't have enough time. I get to the end of the day and think, right, I'll do some exercise at the end of the day, get to the end of the day, and I think, well, I can't because I've still got this to do, I've still got this to do. I haven't really achieved anything during the day. I just haven't got enough time. And they said, so why are you saying this? What are you avoiding or letting yourself off the hook for? And I was like, nothing. I'm doing everything. It's not my fault. I've got 3 children to look after, and I'm helping my husband in his business, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and doing all these things. I'm not avoiding anything. I'm doing all of it. But actually, it took me a while to dawn on me, but I was using my identity as someone who was busy, very proud of being busy and being able to do lots of things at once, as an excuse. And I was avoiding taking responsibility for my own health and fitness. And yeah, it was just, I was getting out of it by doing that rather than being responsible for myself. And I'm just going to go back one. So, let me give you some different perspectives. So if you're like me and you were saying, I just haven't got time, perhaps it's not that you don't have the time to exercise, but rather that you're not making your health a priority. I know that was for me. I wasn't prioritizing it. I was leaving it to the end of the day when I was tired, and I still felt I had lots of other things to do. And so what I was really telling myself was, well, I'd rather keep on doing what I've always done. I'll just keep being busy, and I'll just keep getting the same results. I'll keep getting to the end of the day and saying, no, I haven't had time to do any exercise today. And if I carried on with that, or if that's the story you're telling yourself, where will you be 1 year from now? Where would you be 5 years from now if you continue telling yourself, I haven't got the time? I haven't got the time for my health. You're just going to keep getting older. And as we age, our health declines. Now, there's never enough time to do everything. There's only time to do what's important. So you have to decide how important your health and well-being is to you. Time is just an illusion. Another perspective that I'll share with you is that people might say, or you might be saying to yourself, well, I can't afford it. I can't afford a gym membership, or I can't afford an online exercise membership. And so let me just ask you to think about how much your health is worth to you. Do you always put yourself last when it comes to your health? And, as I'm sat here wondering, if you're really saying that when it comes to your health, how much is it worth? Is it worth spending £1 a day on? Is your health worth that? Or is holding on to your money more important than your health? Again, I've had an example where I've spoken to a couple of women and they've said, well, I'd love to work with you, Gila, but I need to save up and then I'll treat myself. Well, is your health a treat? Is it a luxury? Something that you have to sort of earn? Or is it something that is important and non-negotiable? Have you considered that all of these obstacles, these stories that you're telling yourself, and about your identity and the sort of person you show up as, are in fact just stories that you tell yourselves? And because they are stories, so they're your thoughts and they become your words, they then become your beliefs, and then that's what results in your actions, and then that influences your habits, and then before you know it, that is your reality. And sometime down the line, you won't be able to take your health and fitness for granted any longer, and you'll wish you made the time, found the energy, prioritised your finances, and took responsibility for your health whilst you still had it. You know, what happens when you can no longer bend over to tie your shoelaces or walk up the stairs or go for a walk in the country or enjoy gardening? Hoping for a good future without investing in today is a bit like a farmer waiting for a crop without ever planting any seeds. And by the time you figure out you should have planted some seeds many years ago, you're already hungry. And although it's never too late, in most cases, you know, it's going to make your job harder again to regain your fitness. But what if your story was about fitness was different? What if your problem wasn't time or time management, lack of energy or flexibility, or just the fact you don't like getting hot and sweaty, or lack of knowledge or finances? What if your story was different? And the mistakes people make is they look at their external circumstances, and this is what I did as well, to change how you are and how you feel. So you think, well, okay, when the children have grown up, then I'll have time and then I'll do some exercise. Or when I've got some more money, I've saved some money, I'll treat myself to some classes or a membership. But this is all backwards, because you've got to begin on the inside, changing yourself, changing your mind, those stories that you're telling yourself, and then you'll change you and your circumstances. So what is it that is actually stopping you reaching your fitness goals? And I'm hoping you have come to the conclusion or the answer in your head as you're listening to me, that what is actually stopping you is you. You're the only thing that is stopping you reaching your fitness goals. The key to sticking with an exercise program is to strengthen the muscle between your ears. That's what we need to work on strengthening. And I hope you like my little picture there. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you, that in order to improve your physical fitness, you need to do exercise regularly, because I'm sure you know that. But I will tell you that your mind will give up 100 times quicker than your body will ever fatigue. How many times have you talked yourself out of doing exercise? How many times has that little voice come up and said, oh, no, I don't really feel like it tonight. Just, have a break. You don't need to do anything. Oh, look, just sit on the settee and watch some telly or get in the bath or something. How many times have you started a fitness regime with good intentions and then life just gets in the way and you miss a session, then you miss a few weeks, then a few months, and then you feel like you're back where you started. The only thing that is not working is the belief that this won't work for you. So if you're thinking, yeah, but I always start and it doesn't work out, the only thing not working for you is your belief that it's not working for you. It's a multi-stage process, and it's always a good idea to work out where your head is at first. Becoming fitter is not a linear process. It doesn't just go up perfectly like this. It's one that you might feel you take a couple of steps forwards and a couple of steps back, and it will go up and down. As you learn more about yourself and what works for you, and listening to your stories and changing your stories. And as you develop new habits and you get to stick with them. So it's not that you're a failure, you haven't been able to stick with exercise, or you're not cut out for exercise, or you're just not flexible enough, or anything else. Expect your progress to be non-linear. It's saying going up and down. It might even go back, circle round and spiral. There will be good days. There will be bad days. We all have them. And it's not about staying on the bike. You learn. It's about learning, about falling off and then getting back on. If you think back to when you learned to ride a bike, you didn't just get on and have a go and then fall off and say, oh, well, that's it. I can't ride a bike now. That's it. I've tried. And you give up. You get back on. You have another go. So it's not about staying on. You learn to fall off. You learn then to pick yourself back up and get back on the bike. And by learning to ride that bike, what did it give you? It gave you freedom. You could go out, you could travel further, faster, down the hills with the wind blowing through your hair and so on. So it gave you all of that by persevering at those beginning stages. Keep getting back on, keep getting back on, keep getting back on. Everyone falls off the bike. Everyone does. And it's just the process. Okay, so here, let me give you some tips to help you keep getting back on your bike. Right, so establishing a beneficial habit is a bit like tending a garden. Lots of work early on, lots of perseverance, and then as you progress, there is less work, but there's never none at all. You always are keeping working at it. So first of all, recognise the positives. Yeah, keep reminding yourself how you feel after you've done a bite-sized Pilates workout. You've got more energy. You can concentrate better, improve strength. Perhaps you feel calmer, less stressed, less anxious. I know a few people always say, whenever I do Pilates, I always sleep really well. Improves your sleep. And that, remembering those positives, will help to motivate you next time when you do think, yeah, I felt really good last time. I'm going to do that again. Think long term. So, you can read self-help books and blogs about mindset and creating habits, and sometimes they give the impression that it's sort of overnight, that you can, you throw out your old habits and then you get your new ones and away you go. But of course, it's not quite like that. Life does sometimes throw a curveball your way. So the key is to take the long-term view rather than a snapshot. It's a bit like the stock market. So one day might be great, the next might be terrible. And instead of worrying about those day-to-day fluctuations, think of your exercise program as an investment in your health, for the next 5, 10 years and into the future. No guilt, no overwhelm, one step at a time. So despite all the hardcore, no pain, no gain, and all of those messages you sometimes hear around exercise, it's really important to stay flexible. Go easy on yourself, yeah? And just as you move forwards, you celebrate the victories. Yeah, I can do that now. And if you have a bad day or you miss a workout or something doesn't quite feel right, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. You just pick yourself back up, keep progressing one step at a time. Progress is progress. It doesn't matter how small that progress is, it is still progress. And this is the same approach we have in core as well. And then, of course, having realistic expectations. How many times have you seen 4 weeks to get 4 weeks to a six-pack abs? Or, 21 days to slimmer thighs, whatever it might be. We often look for that easy fix, that promise of an easy fix, and that immediate gratification. That's just human nature. But exercise is part of a wellness plan, and it's a plan that you work on forever. So it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be flexible, so that you can keep consistent, because that's the only way you will get those six packs and those slimmer thighs, and you will build that strength. It won't just happen in a few weeks or days. Okay, so What if you could write yourself a new story about your fitness and change your life? What's your new story going to be? Be kind on yourself as you set your fitness goals. Begin to examine sort of your own long-held truths, your stories that you've been telling yourself. Be patient. Stumbling is all part of the process. And it takes time to shift your perspective and on your mindset, just as it does to improve your strength and your flexibility. You're not just mindset, is often amped up on social media and so on, and you feel like you just got to read one quote and you're like, yeah, that's it, my mindset's changed. It might change for a bit. You might think, yeah, that's a great quote, but it's not really going to have loads of impact. A single motivational workshop, even this session tonight as a one-off, it will start, but you've got to keep it going, just as the same with the physical fitness. So what if you could write yourself a new story? Have a think, what would it be? So again, don't need to write in the comments or anything, just have a think in your head. What's your new story going to be? You will always be busy until you commit to not being busy. What would happen if you gave yourself permission to do something for yourself? So just think about that. If you say, yeah, okay, I'm allowed to do this. I'm giving myself permission. I can do some exercise. And how would you feel if you lived your life on purpose, intentionally? So have you ever considered what it would be like to enjoy exercising regularly, guilt-free, not feeling you should be doing something else or you should be looking after someone else, with enough time and energy, knowing you're getting stronger, more mobile and flexible and doing everything you want to be able to do? Just consider that for a moment. How would that feel? I think it would feel pretty good. Actually, it would feel better than good, right? It would just feel awesome. It would feel great to just know that you're looking after yourself. You're taking care of yourself. It's easy. It's achievable. You can do it. You can fit it into a busy lifestyle, do all these things, and, remembering that you're just as important as anyone else. And if you've been doing the Pilates for health workouts, you'll already started to discover that by doing those workouts, how good you feel. And by taking that control, setting boundaries around your time, doing the Pilates, the physical and mental benefits to that. So have a think then. I asked you at the beginning how you describe yourself and what your identities might be. So if we're changing these stories around fitness, we need to be thinking about changing the stories about yourself as well. What is your best self? What's the best version of yourself that you would like to be? And how would you describe your best self? What's your new identity? How do you want to show up? And this will take more thinking time than we've got together tonight. So please do give this some more thought. And then think about, what's your new exercise story? What is really important to you? You might be thinking, well, yeah, I'm a successful, healthy, active woman. I enjoy exercising regularly. I prioritize my fitness. I set boundaries around my time. I'm in control. I'm more confident. They're the stories that you may want to tell yourself. And when you think about what's really important to you, go back to that question I said at the beginning about, if you had a magic wand, what wish would you grant in terms of your fitness? So what's really important to you? Is your health and fitness important to you? I'm hoping the fact you're listening to this here, it is. But you might be saying, no, actually, it's not, Gila, I'm not bothered. Okay, that's fine. but take control of your life. It's your life. They're your thoughts. It's your choice. So who do you want to be instead of the person that society is expecting you to be? You know, is society expecting women to be the givers, to be the multitaskers? Are they expecting us to be perfect? Are we expecting those things of ourselves? Be the person that you want to be. And this is an approach we use in core as well. And we follow this so that each day we can be a better version of ourselves, and we work towards becoming our best empowered self. And all those three aspects are really important: that mindset, powerful habits, and the bite-sized Pilates, which will all come together, help us becoming happy, confident, calm, clear, committed and in control, and strong, healthy and active. So imagine this. Imagine leading a physically active and fulfilling life with true strength, confidence and calm. No more backaches, better sleep, enjoying doing all those things you want to, gardening, walking, playing with children, traveling, learning new activities and physical skills, feeling full of energy, plenty of time to exercise, no guilt, no overwhelm, no frustration. You know, what does that give you? If you can really imagine living that life and feeling like that, what does that give you? Would you agree that successful, healthy, fit women know that they need to give themselves permission to do something for them and own the fact that they are important too? They honour their boundaries around their time and their health and fitness. Are you watching this, wondering, okay, this is all making sense, Gila, but how am I going to do this? Has there been a time in your life where you've been frustrated that whatever you seemed to do, you just didn't move any further forwards with your exercise, or you could never find that time for you? So knowing what you know now and what we've been talking about tonight, perhaps you can see the missing piece of the jigsaw. And what will you now do differently as a result? What are you going to change? So what's your next step? Have a think. What's your next step from tonight? So we've talked about these 4 steps. What are your fitness goals? Thinking about what you would like long term. Explored what's getting in your way from achieving them. What's holding you back. We talked about the things you tell yourself, your stories, your habits. And we've also thought about what you as your best self would look like. And we found also in our time together, it's not the lack of time or energy or finances that stops you achieving your fitness goals or staying strong and healthy, but the actual thing that is stopping you is you. And by now knowing that, you can take responsibility for your actions and change your stories. And it might be a bit uncomfortable to begin with to admit that, like I found at the beginning when I was saying, well, I've just got no time. I said, well, what are you avoiding? It took me a while to have the courage to own up to that and say, actually, yeah, I'm not being responsible for my own health. And we also know that the key to achieving your fitness goals is to strengthen the muscle between your ears. And that takes time. That's a process. But the fact you're still here, you're still listening, there is obviously some part of you that wants to rewrite your fitness stories, become your best self, and make your dream a reality. Now, if you're like most busy women who want to find the time to improve your fitness and achieve your fitness goals, you already know you want to make that happen. Then you might be wondering, okay, what now? What can I do now? What's next? And that's the question I asked you as well just then. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is to take a stand for yourself. take responsibility for your health and fitness and continue your journey with me in Core. Core is an unique Pilates membership. We improve our mental health as well as just our physical. And inside Core, you'll find an approach that's simple, rewarding, enjoyable, sustainable, all those things we've been talking about in just the right combination. And you've had a chance to sort of see a little bit of that with the Pilates for Health taster bundle. If you've been doing those workouts and you're watching this, you'll have a taste of flavour of what that's like. Core is all about becoming the best version of yourself physically and mentally too. Now, I'm wondering if you're the certain sort of person who will prioritise your health and fitness, owning the fact that you are important too. You are. You'll honour your boundaries around time. You'll protect your boundaries around time and be the best version of yourselves. Or maybe not. So I just want to say that I will be sending everyone who has been doing the Pilates for health and well-being an invitation in the next few days to join Core and continue your transformation in Core if that is something you would like to do. However, if you can't wait that long and you're watching this and thinking, I want to get started right now, I want to jump in, then that's absolutely fine. I am going to post the link in the chat in a little bit. And so if you're here live, you can jump in early if you want to. And if you've already made that decision, that, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, I'm taking responsibility, then please, and you're just going to jump straight in the next 24 hours, I'm going to give you an additional bonus of my 28-day powerful pelvic floor program. That takes some saying. Fire up your floor. So if it's something you know, yeah, I'm committed to that, I'm doing that, I am going to give you that additional bonus as well for the next 24 hours. And once you've enrolled in Core, I want you to celebrate and acknowledge what a positive decision you have just made for yourself. No one else, but for you, to benefit you. So what are you going to do? So I'd love to know what has been most helpful from tonight's session. You know, what you're going to take away from tonight's session. What has been holding you back? What are you going to do now? And we know that, you know, who can change that? You can. You have the power. And as we say in Core, the strength within yourself to do that. Do you have to do it on your own? No, absolutely not. It's easier and quicker and more fun if you've got someone there to help you and guide you along the way. Sooner or later, there'll be a point where you have a question or you're finding it difficult to get back up on that bike again. So having someone who has got your back will make your journey successful. I'm a great fan of just not making your life harder for yourself. Why do we need to make it hard for ourselves? We don't need to prove anything to anyone else. We do not need to be superwomen. You know, life doesn't need to be a Rubik's Cube that's got to be solved. It can be simple and easy and achievable. And as I said, as we say in Core, it's within yourself that you will find the strength you need to do this. So I'm going to stop my screen share now. If anyone wants to comment, or if you're watching this on recording, on replay, then please just drop me a message or send me an email. I'd love to hear what you're going to do now. What has been holding you back? What stories have you been telling yourself, and how are you going to move forward? What's your next step? And if you've got any questions about Core, please just fire away with those, and let me know how you get on with the rest of the Pilates for Health. I will send your invitation out in the next few days if you would like to join, and I'd love to see you there. Thank you very much for listening. For all of those people who stayed to the end, I will be sending out your free gift tomorrow, so you'll have that. Check out your inboxes for that, and I will be in touch with you all very, very soon. So thank you for listening, thank you for joining me, and I will catch up with you soon.